Hi, preschool friends. Remember this week we're talking about pets. Some of the people in our class I know have fish for pets. We've talked about it. And I think some of our friends have cats and some of our friends have dogs. We have a lot of pets in our class. This story is a goldfish story. So this one's about a fish. It's called Not Norman. It's by Kelly Bennett, and the pictures are by Noah Z. Jones, or the illustrations. That's another name for pictures. So let's see what happens in this story that says Not Norman. When I got Norman, I didn't want to keep him. I wanted a different kind of pet, not Norman. I wonder what kind of pet he wanted. Not a fish. I wanted a pet who could run and catch, or one who could climb trees and chase strings. A soft, furry pet to sleep on my bed at night. Not Norman. You see, this friend has a pet cat and this friend has a pet dog. All Norman does is swim around and 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 around. This is it, Norman. I decide. I'm trading you for a good pet. Norman doesn't move. Not even a fin twitches. How can I trade him like this? No one will want a sorry-looking fish in a gunky bowl. Because that's one thing you have to do if you have a pet fish. You have to clean their bowl. When I drop Norman into his nice clean bowl, he starts dipping and flipping and flapping his fin around. He looks so goofy I have to laugh. Don't think that just because you made me laugh, I'm going to keep you. I tell him, tomorrow, you're out of here. Norman blows a stream of bubbles. He is a cute fish. The next day, I take Norman to school with me. If I talk him up real good during show and tell, maybe someone will want him. On the way there, we see my friend Austin. Austin has a real cool dog and 7 puppies. Want to swap one of your puppies for Norman, I ask? Who's Norman? Asks Austin. My goldfish, I say. Look what's happening. What are the puppies doing to his bowl? By the time I rescue Norman, half his water is gone. Those puppies are drinking the water out of his fish bowl. I'm sorry, I tell Norman when we get to school. I'm really sorry. He just stares at me all googly-eyed. Finally, it's my turn for show and tell. Just as I start to talk about goldfish, Emily shouts, Jenny's gone! Who let my snake loose? There's a snake loose in their school. I don't think I'd like that too well. Does anyone hear the story of how I got Norman? Does anyone even ask to hold his bowl? No, they're all jumping and screaming and chasing the snake. Not Norman. He's looking right at me. Thanks for listening, I tell him. That afternoon, we go to my music lesson. As soon as it's over, I'm taking Norman back to the pet store. I take out my tuba and I begin to play. Bum, 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 ba, 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 boo, boop, boop, bee. I glance over at Norman. He's swaying back and forth. Glue, 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 glug, he mouths. Look, Norman's singing, I say. Pay attention, snaps Maestro, and try to play the proper notes. He was excited because he thought Norman was singing. Maestro makes me stay for extra practice. By the time my lesson is over, it's too late to go to the pet store. Don't think that just because you like my music, I'm going to keep you, I tell Norman. He glugs. Glug. That night, I'm sound asleep when screech, scritch. What's that noise? Scratch, scritch, screech. Yikes, there's something at the window. Then out of the corner of my eye, look at his face. He looks like he's really afraid. I spot Norman. He isn't scared. He isn't swimming around in circles either. He glugs and gives me a little wave. I'm not alone. Together, Norman and I slide open the curtains. It was just a broken tree branch that was making that noise. Thanks for watching out for me, Norman. It wasn't anything scary at all. On Saturday, I take Norman to the pet store, just like I said I would. I look at the cats and the dogs and the snakes and the birds. I look at the hamsters and the mice and the lizards too. They all look like good pets, but they are not Norman. I like how he takes Norman in his wagon. That works out well. When I got Norman, I wasn't sure I wanted to keep him. But now, even if I could pick any pet in the whole world, I wouldn't trade him. Not Norman. He made a sign for him that says, Norman, one amazing fish. He figured out that Norman was a really very nice pet to have indeed.